Toward the end of a cold winter, the surrounding landscape is sparse and full of contrasts, yet somehow beautiful, peaceful, a place to think. Iowa, in America's Midwest, a land of unending fields, fields that grow wheat and corn. Here in this farm country, every year since 1962, a unique experiment in people-to-people communication has taken place. The community of the imagination. From around the world, writers of all sorts, novelists, critics, journalists, essayists, and translators come together. They meet for the first time to explore those intangible qualities that nurture the highest forms of human expression. They take part in a program that makes no formal demands of its participants, save to write, to think, to interact with their environment and each other as they please. Farmland, campus, farming, intellectual pursuits, life's purpose, survival, its meaning, a constant search. The University of Iowa, fertile ground for a writer's work. Whenever and wherever writers gather, the normal course of events leads to conversations, dissertations, critiques and debates on writing and life. A weekly seminar ritualizes the inevitable.
Is the writer any longer a person in one country, or does he now have a sense that the whole world could be the people who read his books?
The fact that this question should have been posed is interesting because it could only really be posed in the 20th century when we're so nationalistic and so hidebound by nationalistic considerations that we can talk in terms of nationalist literature and world literature, or nationalist culture and world culture.
I don't necessarily write only for Japanese, only for Asia, because I'm a Japanese, but Japanese is living on the earth. This earth is, if Japanese live in this earth and American live in this earth, if we have many earths, maybe I might going to write only for Japanese, but I cannot escape to moon, I cannot escape to another space.
We are more and more becoming what you might call it a specific kind of writing. You write for certain people, a certain group. They don't understand, even in your country, something of what you write, you know, but other people, they live in other countries, they do.
The writer from the third world begins to realize that he's facing all kinds of questions like, who is he writing for? Who's going to read him? Why is he writing? And then he realizes that actually he comes from a situation where he has been led to believe that all writing, all culture comes from outside. It all comes from Europe. And so he then says, well, now I've got to counteract that. So that means I have to write specifically for my people. Then he has to define who are my people. Now why do I write? One of the reasons why I write is to remove this great burden of a foreign culture.
For me, writing is a form of therapy. If I get, yeah, honestly, if I get very, if I get very depressed, listen, if I get very depressed, I can pick up my typewriter and just type anything, 10 pages. After that, I feel okay. It doesn't matter who reads it afterwards.
But you see, in this topic, there is a mention about culture. And again, culture is all right for certain forms of art and certain forms of human expression, like painting and music, sculpture, architecture. See, these things can become really universal. But literature concerns primarily with language.
The only thing in literature which counts is, as Tyagarajan said, is language. And the only thing which can be said is that a writer writes for the people who speaks, who speak in the language in which he writes.
I'm going to tell one Russia anecdote. It's one, of course, typical Russia scene. It's Russia winter. And on this scene, it's one cock and two hens. And of course, hens are trying to escape themselves from this cock. They are running, and in one moment, one hen says to other, "Don't you think that we run too fast?" So, in this story, hens, of course, represents writers. Who is cock? Cock is culture, who is trying to capture these writers, you see. But what's going on? If writer trying to escape of culture, because if he really like to be a writer, he has to go further of culture. But in the same time, he has to be aware of one thing. It's okay that he's trying to escape of culture, but he has to have in mind, don't run too fast. And then at the end, of course, writer will lose this race. Culture will win.
The University of Iowa was the first university in the United States to bring artists of every kind to create new work, not only to study old work. And I came for that reason.
Paul and Wowling Engel, two writers with a dream, fostering worldwide understanding through literature. Together they founded the International Writing Program.
So we are dealing with older and established writers who are here not as students, not as tourists, not as guests, but as artists whose form is language. It seems to me, therefore, that this ought to be a symbol of the world in which people who are imaginative know and trust people who are imaginative. After all, if you are reading poetry to each other, you are not fighting each other. For a writer suddenly to be alone here in Iowa, confronting only his own talent and this landscape and this language was a great and shocking experience. Some couldn't take it, you know.
Yeah,
they couldn't write their books. They were silenced.
That's true. When the writer drops from the heaven to the ground suddenly, he finds the reality. It's like suddenly he was stripped bare naked, you know. There's, oh, I look like this. This part is beautiful, this part is ugly. He found this reality about himself, and his writing too. His writing has to compete with so many talents from other parts of the world. It's a reality too, which he couldn't find in his own country.
That's the risk any writer takes when he leaves his own home and goes to a different one.
The world of writing is lonely. It is peopled by highly individual beings, each with their own unique vision, each crying out to be heard, recognized, understood.
Traveling is a search for a bit of home for me. And walking down the streets of Iowa City, I wonder the streets here are straight. The roads impose on my legs.
Kole Amotoso, Nigeria, wrote the novels The Edifice, The Combat, and many short stories. A man from a new generation of African writers who no longer feel the need to explain their country to outsiders. They face instead the realities of their own life.
Bookshops are usually for me the beginning of getting to know towns. Bookshops are almost like marketplaces back home. People come to the market not only to sell and buy, but mainly to meet people, exchange information, and pass on to other places. And I think of other bookshops I've been into in other capitals, of the types of writings and writers I've met in these bookshops. Athens, in my mind, belongs to Nikos Kazantzakis, for it was here that I met his book. In Istanbul, I met Arthur Koestler, Darkness at Noon, and also Arrival and Departure. Cairo yielded an American edition of a Nigerian writer I didn't know had been published here. In Damascus, I ran into a writer who was furious that his books were not on the bookshelves. We talked about writing, his problems, publishers. Looking through the bookstores of Iowa City, I have come across names I knew before, writers already familiar, and I'm making friends with other writers, yet unknown. So, though daylight and nighttime darkness are my keepers here, I have also found a bit of home in Iowa City.
My main field of interest has always been a bit gloomy. You see, I've been mostly interested in subject matters like suffering, martyrdom, and the psychosis of persecution. That's why I dedicated a long poem, in fact an oratorio, to the memory of Joan of Arc. We are so clever when it comes to killing. We always kill what we love, we always kill whom we love.
Agnes Gergely, Hungary, author of 3 books of poems, 2 novels, numerous essays and translations. Her memory of the war years shaped her philosophical concerns.
Because it's always Joan of Arc who survives the inquisitors. Because who remembers the names of any inquisitor? Nobody. But everybody remembers Joan of Arc.
The experiment must be carried out now. In due time, while the sky is still deserted, St. Joan should take a space ride to the sun.
St. Joan should take a space ride to the sun. Should wear a dress of ore against the heat. Should apply a medicated cream to her skin. Should stand motionless when the earth comes near.
She never really liked a frosty day.
She always preached about the fire. So now there is a fire. Let her enjoy it. She'll be the first to hear the roosters crow. We'll hear them later with the rising sun. We'll never know the real spotlight of life. The planets are just details of this game.
Therefore, Joan of Arc will be the happier, while mankind suffers here upon the earth. Give your living flesh to human science.
Be helpless. Be a parasite. Be a heretic. You will be put on fire and you will be adored. And she will survive. For what else could she do? Weeds are being ground within our brains. Weeds are being ground within our brains.
You find 20 Napoleons in one metal ward. But we are wise, there are no more Joan of Arcs today.
The way she left has made the forest clear. She won't come back even if let alone. We wouldn't laugh at her. We wouldn't kill her.
Just label her as if she were a whore.
St. Joan should take a space ride to the sun.
J. Tyagarajan, India, wrote the novels Tenir and Cast of Characters and hundreds of articles. A truly selfless writer who becomes his characters.
Vaanga, ukkarunga. That's sabreenga. Oh, please don't stand mystified. I was only trying to welcome you in my language, Tamil. I'm glad you could come again. Oh, no, you aren't disturbing me. You aren't preventing a masterpiece being created. I'm only writing a letter. Sometimes writing these letters could be the hardest things, and I'm struggling with this letter. But I think I like struggling, and I like a whole bunch of struggles. And that's probably why I work on a story and a novel and a play and an article all at the same time. But coming to think of it, it's not really a struggle. I think we are many things and many people at the same time. And anyway, there isn't a person in this world who is so simple that you can say you have understood him all. We're a little uncomfortable. Is it because I don't have a shirt on? Well, this is the way I am usually at home there in India. And right now this apartment has to be my private India. Of course I miss my people. Would you believe that there are about a dozen people living under the same roof in my house? I have some pictures of them. Would you like to see them? Here it is. I'm sorry they are so small. You need a microscope, don't you? Well, my whole family, my brother, my brother's wife, my sisters, my sons, my nephews. Well, this picture is my third boy. He's named after Ramakrishna. Ramakrishna was a saint who lived a He was a great man, and you should come to know of him sometime. Well, I think it's getting late for you. You got to go. Right? Poitu vaanga. Jagrada poitu vaanga. Well, what I am saying is, goodbye and come again.
My itimasu is a fireplace, a ritualized happening.
Virginia Moreno, Philippines. She wrote The Onyx Wolf, a play based on the exploits of a 16th century heroine who fought for Filipino liberation. Virginia was one of a group of writers in the program who were deeply committed to things visual.
I met David a month ago. He's a novelist too, and I read his novel, and especially that interested me was his affection for nature and for countryside life.
En-hoon Che, Korea, writer of Laughter, collection of short stories. Gray Man, a novel. Happy to have found an American friend whose rural background was so different from his city life and soul, and yet who shared his spirituality.
Real good well water. I've read some of my friends' work in this program, and I enjoyed and appreciate them much. I'm not sure for this moment which kind of influence shall their works make on me, because the process for experience to be connected to the writing itself is very complicated and not a direct one, but I found we are working under rather universal and common way of writing.
Last night we met. This morning she becomes my Dalai Lama. how salty. The teeth grow numb, the straw catches fire. Next one. This time you were smart, Joy. Let me take you to the movies. I'll take you to a movie full of girls dancing all kinds of peasant dances, singing religious songs. Please, don't cry, Joy. Afterward, I'll stuff you with pizza, cheeses, and beer. Only, Joy, promise me, you won't knock out the waiter's eye if he occasionally, Joy, he appears a little cockeyed. Why have you boiled, Joy?
Alexander Petrov, Yugoslavia, wrote In the Prose of Space, Self-Maker, and over 100 articles. He demonstrated the literary value of laughter and beer.
Why were you boiling Sing? Well, we were boiling Ming, and Sing just fell into the spot. Why were you boiling Ming? You ask too many questions. Do you know that that letter is excluded from grammar? Which letter is excluded from grammar? That letter is excluded from grammar. I have never heard of that letter. But you use that letter in your poems. Did I write my poems? Thank you.
Ana Blondiana, Romania. 5 books of poems. Her poems reveal a young woman exploring every facet of her inner being.
Unii mă văd numai pe mine, alții te văd numai pe... Ne suprapunem atât de perfect încât nimeni nu ne poate vedea deodată și nimeni nu îndrăznește să locuiască pe muchia de unde putem fi văzuți amândoi. Eu văd numai soarele, tu vezi numai luna, tu duci dorul soarelui, eu duc dorul lunii. Stăm spate în spate, oasele noastre s-au unit de mult, sângele duce zvonuri de la o inimă la alta. Cum ești? Dacă ridic brațul și-l întind mult înapoi, îți descoper clavicula dulce și urcând, degetele îți ating sfintele buze, apoi brusc se întorc și-mi strivesc până la sânge gura. Cum suntem? Avem 4 brațe ca să ne apărăm. Ai pe dușmanul din fața ta și eu numai pe dușmanul din fața mea. Avem 4 picioare să alergăm, dar tu poți alerga numai în partea ta și eu numai în cealaltă parte. Orice pas este o luptă pe viață și pe moarte. Suntem egali, dar stăm spate în spate, crescuți ca 2 crengi, și dacă unul dintre noi s-ar smulge jertfindu-se pentru o singură privire, ar vedea numai spatele din care s-a smuls, înfrigurat, însângerat al celuilalt.
The poem Bow is very old indeed. I think it's 12 years old now, and I read it...
Petru Popescu, Romania, writer of novels Bacchic End, Caught, and others. He abdicated poetry in his early youth in favor of the novel in his later youth.
But in contradistinction with how poetry is written today, it is certainly a poem without ideas.
2 women on a bough speak and wrap themselves in the haze of words. Oh, they have eyes. Peaches. and lemons bite in the flesh. But their legs are falling, severed from the hips, and they don't want to know of other legs, and they don't want to know about themselves, save through other legs.
Against this very explicit kind of poem, I find my whole being rebelling. And I wonder if we ought to give in to this poetry which is all done in laboratories, performed on campuses, and lived only in the mind. Maybe the surrealists, after all, were right to the extent that they were trying, if not really to live their poetry, at least they couldn't raise their lives to their poetry, I think, but they could bring down their poetry to their lives. In that sense, at least, they were consistent. While now we are having an experiment which is epigonic and academic, on campuses, on someone else's money. And I think true poetry is very far from that.
Musik untukmu dan untukku, untuk pengunjung hari Minggu.
Abdul Hadi, Indonesia. 2 books of poems. He's immensely popular among the youth of his country. Inspire the dance, or the dance his poetry.
Belum muncul anak-anak nelayan.
There are ancient rooms up from the shore. I run from memories and realities, from my dreams, my ancestors, from the wooden statues. This Balinese orchestra, these girls dancing, these tourists, you and I. So I move my lips and say to you, yeah, this is music, only music. Today, the Sunday visitors will go back late, leaving fishermen adrift and the poets idle uninspired. And the waves that whisper to you turn hoarse. I know its sound, although I never go with fishermen, I know.
Hola, mi querido Tintín.
Jose Antonio Bravo, Peru. He wrote the plays Orat, Karpat, several novels and essays. In his apartment, he plans his latest novel, like an architect's blueprint for a military campaign.
Sí, he estado componiendo, me demoro bastante para escribir, tú sabes que tengo mala memoria. Esas cosas no son tan fáciles. Ahí estoy trabajando sobre los personajes y los antecedentes, felizmente que ya terminé. Tengo que ajustar algunas cosas, ya terminé de pasar la máquina, incluso esta es la novela terminada. Bueno, sí, cuando te pones a escribir planificas, no sabes bien. Esto es algo que está fuera de ti. Cuando estás a la mitad ya te lleva prácticamente la novela por su propio camino. Es interesante cuando tú sientes que te lleva y cuando... Eso es lo difícil, pero grato también. Por ejemplo, en lo que me detuve muchísimo fue en la parte del absurdo. Nunca puedo controlar el absurdo, es siempre complicado para mí. Generalmente me muevo mejor en el humor negro sobre todo. Por ejemplo, fíjate, aquí tengo yo unas notas sobre sexo, erotismo, crueldad. Pero todo con humor. Eso es lo que me impulsa a escribir. Bueno, no es tan complicado. El mapa es solamente un diseño para poder escribir, pero finalmente si te sientas y quieres ver un poco, ven. Fíjate, prácticamente la organización de la novela, si tú ves el mapa, es complicadísimo, lleno de líneas, de cuadrados, pero la verdad es que son 2 grandes planos. Son 3 personajes principales, Miguel, Eloísa y Mauricio, y prácticamente 10 secundarios, son prácticamente dos planos grandes que se mueven en la novela. Estos 2 grupos de personajes se van alternando en la novela, se van componiendo, pero ya previamente diseñados, porque ellos se gobiernan en una gradación ascendente y descendente. Cuando ya están prácticamente presentados quiero decir, los personajes secundarios y los principales, llega un momento en la novela en que se reúnen. Cuando estoy planeando la novela pienso en los temas, en los subtemas, en los temas secundarios que mueven el texto. Eso es todo. ¿De verdad no quieres una cerveza? Allá tú, muérete de sed, muérete de sed. Bueno, ya tú sabes que aquí estamos, en cualquier momento, cuando tú quieras, podemos componer tu texto, tus cuentos, lo que te parezca conveniente. Anda, anda, muchachos, anda con Dios.
I would like you to listen to the repetition of two characters.
Waling Engel is director of one of the most important aspects of the program, translation of an artist's work into other languages.
In this version, but it doesn't sound right. I mean, in English it sounds really old.
You mean
sounds
common?
Too common, yeah.
Well, the original language.
Fish without water is too common. So is tree without soil.
I think there's nothing old at all, because we've been talking about hero, we've been talking about fish or tree for thousands of years.
Yeah. In translating a poem, or you will find that there are not only two different languages, but represent two different cultures, two expressions, doing things. In translating, you will also find that these strange words or characters as in expressing ideas from the mind and cries from the heart, just as in your own language.
And if you want that parallelism and the brief rhythm and so on, lines.
But here, you have only this feeling of being empty, but you don't have that kind of concrete image. We work as a team.
When you do have this,
usually, one person who knows the from the origin. Who knows both languages, or who is in charge of the project, and this person will find out what's wrong in translation. Then the second person will discuss all these problems with the American writer, who will into a publishable version. Translation is like discovering lost paintings on the walls of an ancient cave. The result of translating but revelation.
Oh, do not more deeply by never.
Don't think more deeply by never because
of England. Not so much for their meaning as their sound in an aesthetic presentation. When asked to explain his work, he refused, preferring instead to show it and let you draw your own conclusions.
Oh, he does not feel so.
More deeply.
Not more deeply by never because of you.
Oh, do you?
Oh, don't. Not under one because of me.
Not so.
So because of you.
I silence you.
You don't silence me.
You do it more deeply than anyone else ever could.
Don't think I don't more deeply than anyone. You have left thousands on me. I have left thousands on you.
I have left thousands on you.
You have not left thousands on me.
You don't silence me.
Than anyone else ever could. I can without knowing them first.
You can't without knowing them first.
You can without knowing them first. This long isn't ages for it to last. Don't get up because of me. This long is ages for it to last. That long isn't ages for it to last because of you.
That long is ages for it to last.
I can without knowing them first.
You have left thousands.
Thousands on you.
Not left thousands on me.
I have not. And without knowing them first. They will not be into That next under such.
Not just that, just this. Not just this because of me, just that.
Even if mine is no, yours will remain yes. No, mine will remain no. That this leaves you, that and this. This that does not leave me, this and that.
What am I trying to do? Click. What are you trying to do? Click. What is she trying to do? Click. What is he trying? Click. Try.
I do more deeply than anyone else ever could.
Do you think there's a difference in the program between the people who regard primarily as total art beings, the particular artistic vein not see themselves primarily as primarily poets or writers?
No, you can't say that. You know, you don't sort of when you're about 20 and you feel like publishing or creating your first picture or writing your first symphony, you don't say, I'm an artist. Now, I wonder which art form I should go into. Now I wonder, should I do a bit of music? Difficult, I don't know harmony, and besides that I'm tone deaf.
Some of us do.
Well, you do.
If I'm here to do one spectacle, whether it's a verbal spectacle or do something for Kazuko, just as much as I want to do it, or for the few people in this program, really fluent. Do more by doing something like a performance, and Kazuka can do more for me by doing something like a performance.
Yeah,
in the context.
To perform tricks of a completely different sort because he finds himself in a bloody aquarium, not on the land.
You are bringing the value judgment. The integrity of a human.
What you were talking about earlier, prostitution.
Mm-hmm. Never
you evading the eye.
My life. Never.
Because down to her.
I didn't write. Did a performance. I was a ballet dancer for 5 years.
Well, it didn't show.
I know it didn't show. I've been running away from the training which kills people's minds, takes them out to the edges of motorways and asks them to listen to music that hasn't been tuned for months.
Don't jump!
Discipline confused music for you and the academies of dance.
Academies of music.
Oh, come on. Hasn't had a concert in a concert hall for months and months. And if only the galleries would put the concerts on.
Put him on the middle of Iowa. It's a prostitution of art. Art must not get like Phil Glass is doing it. He must not be degenerate in the way that you and people like him are trying.
Did you call me degenerate?
Yes!
Jacek! For once somebody has called me the epithet generally.
Wait, hold.
Happy birthday. How many cans?
One, two, three, go!
東京。私は釈尊のようにほとんどこの年に座り、病を解任している。
Kazuko Shiraishi. Highly unconventional. The best living poets in her country. Some of her most inspired writing occurs as she rides the subways or roams Tokyo's hippie quarter, Shinjuku. To her, poetry and jazz are interdependent.
その頃私の個人的演奏は10月から12月へと急速に不機嫌に続いた。その間私は地方政私は雲の餌食になりだ囚われた。私の中のなおも何か音楽しようとした。それは単に季節の挨拶であるかもしれない。しかし何かは音楽された。私自身はすでに上に塗り込められ、象のワニの激しさで大鳴らしだがこの鬼叩かれ音楽に呼び込まれているのは誰か。に呼び私もまた埋葬しようと火を灰の中へかき回しているとき、いくつもの予感の霧を切り抜けてかつ痛みを聞きつけた。それは突然火の痛みとなった。今神のすもはや他人の顔となり、コンクリートの首を当て止め眠っている。コンクリートの首をうなだれ、私の年は当てどもないっていう。
Timotheus Karpovich, Poland. Just to mention. Doctor of philosophy, who was fought with the Polish. This incongruity of experience, as he struggles to deny emotion with cold logic. He is, when you combine
many times the sticks
How are you, Timothy? A little preoccupied today.
and I am
Make you ask questions to yourself.
I am a man the side but I am feeling symbol. For example, speaking F any means
Have any such inter
maybe this action, very cruel act, to body. Why? We are human being. Neighbor by man by and maybe sorry Tagarayan. I realized I was mistaken. Thinking branch, then no laugh, but all together. No black.